Hey y'all, so I'm back with another story time, as you can tell by the title. And this is going to be my most embarrassing moment, my most embarrassing. I look really nice in this video. Like, I'm feeling these shades, I'm feeling this lipstick. I just can't get away from the dark lipstick. Like, I can't. It's like, even though it's getting hot outside, bright colors, I can't get away from this. But anyways, so this is gonna be my most embarrassing moment, my most embarrassing period story, and all of that. I used to never want to talk about this. I always wanted to erase this time in history. But then I realized I'm not the only one who has a fucking period. And I'm not the only one who wasn't, who got caught slipping one day. It is what it is. So let's get right into it. Alright, so my most embarrassing period story happened to me when I was in the 5th grade. I know what you're thinking, like, what? She had a period in the 5th grade. I'm not really sure who else had that period in elementary school, but I was always a little bit more developed than the other kids, so it is what it is. I think I got my period in 5th grade, but this isn't the time I got my first period. This is the time that I was caught slipping on my period in 5th grade. So anyways, it happened to me one day in 5th grade, and I remember this day so vividly because how could you forget it? So it was a day that like half of my class was gone because they was on like a field trip or something. Like, most of my friends were gone on a field trip, and it was just me and the people who weren't in a extracurricular activity. Like, I feel like it was a band trip, but I was in band in 5th grade, so I don't know why I didn't go on a trip or what happened. Or anyways, majority of people were on a field trip. So I remember back in 5th grade, graffiti was a thing. And, my dad, he can draw. He's like really good at drawing and painting. So I had these pants, and he gave me like a little design going down the leg on these like super light pants. So I was kind of feeling myself that morning when I was getting ready. I'm like, oh, I'm wearing these super light, like stonewashed pants. And I guess I didn't get the memo that you don't wear light pants at all on your period. Like, you just don't do that. So I wore those, and I was always like super embarrassed of my period. Like, I never wanted to ask for pads, and if I did, it took everything in me to do it. Because it was like, oh my god, I have my period. Like, I don't want this. So I was always like real embarrassed of it, and never wanted to talk about it, never wanted to ask for pads. So this particular day, I can't remember like if I was like on like one of my heavy days, like day 3 or something, I'm not sure, but I needed a pad, and I had used panty liners. I know. So I used panty liners because I was embarrassed, and I didn't want to, I should have asked last, like the night before, and all this other stuff. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna wear a panty liner, and that's just what I'm gonna do. So in a way, I caused myself to get caught slipping, but hey, and then shit I can do about it now. So anyways, I'm feeling myself throughout the whole day, and my period was kind of like out of sight, out of mind type stuff. Like, now, well, I'm a lot more conscious of it. Like, oh my god, make sure my period's okay. I gotta change my pad all day. Checking my pants every 5 minutes, like that. But in 5th grade, I was like, what, 10? I wasn't worried about no fucking period. So, anyways, I was feeling myself that day, and I felt like my flow was heavy, but I just out of sight, out of mind type shit. So, and I go through the whole day or whatever, and something just felt like kind of uneasy. I'm not sure if it was like something in the back of I didn't know what it was. Like, my friends weren't there, so nobody really had my back or anything like that. So I remember we went to lunch, and at that moment I felt like something might be in the back of my pants. I don't know. So I'm just like, I was really embarrassed thinking back on it. Like, I walked through the whole cafeteria like that. Like, anyway, so I remember we'd like get in line, like a single file line or whatever, to go back to class after lunch. And I was walking like down the hallway to my class, and these boys, my little elementary school boo and his cousin, were in the same class as me. You know, they was like, you know, laughing. And I didn't know what they were laughing at. I didn't really care because I'm like, they're boys. Like, they're probably laughing at something. So then we get into class, and it's almost time for recess. And my little elementary school boo and his cousin was like whispering in this girl's ear. We weren't like, me and the girl weren't really friends. We were kind of like okay, but we weren't like, you know, BFFs or nothing. So they're whispering in her ear, and I'm like, you know, I wonder what they're talking about. Like, why nobody, you know, telling me the joke? You know, we're all friends here. So she comes over and she told me that the boys were talking about that I got my period. And I'm like, oh my God, like, how would they know? So I was just sitting down the whole time. I'm like, oh my God, like, what the fuck? So it was time for recess, and we were all, you know, going outside. My class was like right near the door to go outside. So all the classes leaving or whatever, and asked my teacher, can I go to the bathroom? And you know, she said yeah, which I was kind of surprised by because she always says no, but she said yeah. And like, thinking back on it, I feel like that bitch should have had my back because she's a grown woman and I'm in 5th grade, and if you see something like that, you should say something. You shouldn't just let somebody walk around and embarrass themselves all day. Like, and me and her, we weren't like, you know, had a problem or nothing. She was like I was like one of her best students. She was one of my favorite teachers, and it's just like, you didn't have my back. So, but anyways, she said yes. So I go to the bathroom or whatever, and it's like anticipation is like building up. So I'm like, did I have something on the back of my pants? Like, how would they know that I have my period? These pants are super light. Oh my God. So I go to the bathroom, and I went to the bathroom like by the office. I don't know what made me go to that one, but I went to the bathroom by the office, and I went to the stall. I didn't even have to pee. Like, I pulled out my pants and I died because it was like a big spot on the back of my pants, and I died. Like, I was crying. I just felt hopeless. And like, my sister, she wasn't in school with me anymore. Like, she had went on to middle school, and my friends weren't there, and I just felt like, oh my God, like, I'm going to die. Like, I have this big spot on these damn near white pants. Like, they're like blue, but they're like so light, they're almost white. Like, oh my God. I didn't know what to do. So I go to the nurse, and I'm just bawling, like, I'm crying. And I make out my words to tell her that I had an accident on myself. And you know, she thinking that I peed on myself. No, I had a menstrual accident. I didn't say menstrual because I didn't know that word at that time, but you know what I'm saying. So I'm just sitting down in the nurse's office, and I'm just crying. I just felt like so embarrassed, and yeah. So then she gave me like this little jacket out the loft and found a tie around my waist. And I'm like, I'm not going back to fucking class. Like, I'm not going outside and playing on the swings knowing I have something on the back of my fucking pants. So she calls my parents, and my dad comes pick me up. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm so embarrassed. Like, I didn't even want to talk about it. I just was silent. The car ride home, I went upstairs, I went to sleep. Like, I didn't want to talk about it, like, at all. It was so embarrassing, and I'm just like, I want this day to be over. And this happened on like a Friday, I think, because I remember, you know, being happy that the weekend was coming, so I wouldn't have to, you know, talk about it or anything. So I wake up and I feel like, you know, the day's over. So, you know, back in elementary school days, you know, people was on a house phone 24/7. So my friend, we're gonna call her Jasmine in this video. My friend Jasmine calls me on the phone, and you know, she's talking about her field trip and all this other stuff, and I'm like, you know, cool. She wasn't there, she wasn't at school, so she don't know anything that happened. So I thought, I'm thinking, you know, she's telling me about her field trip. You know, we were best friends at the time. So then my little elementary school boo's cousin, we're gonna call him Jason, he apparently told Jasmine about what happened, because she's like, oh, I was talking to Jason and he told me that you got your period at school. And my heart stops. I'm like, I want this day to be over. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to let it go. So my first instinct was to deny it because I was embarrassed. And I'm like, what? No, I didn't get my fucking period. So, you know, she was like, well, that's what he told me or whatever. He said that it happened before y'all, you know, went outside or whatever. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So I'm denying it. And she was like, hold on, I'm gonna call him on three-way. And you know how back in the time, you know, you mute yourself and, you know, you listen to the conversation on three-way or whatever. So she called him and I'm just listening on mute, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, why would he tell her? You're supposed to be my friend. It's not something that you know, talk about like that. But then again, it was 5th grade. Everybody was immature as fuck, so yeah, I guess. And so she asked him, you know, like, so what were you saying that happened with Clea today? And he was like real nonchalant about it, like, oh, she got her period, like, just like it was no big, like, wasn't a big deal. And you know, they were talking about it or whatever, and I'm just like on the phone listening, slowly dying, like, this isn't okay. So then after they stopped talking about me, she's like, oh, I'm gonna call Kalia. And I'm like, what are you calling me for? Like, I didn't want to pick up the phone and just be embarrassed, like, because he didn't know I was on the phone, so she was gonna call me, but I was gonna unmute myself. So she calls me, and I'm just like, I didn't know what to say. And I wasn't really talking because I'm like, this is so embarrassing. Like, not only did I have an accident on myself in school, but now you told the people who wasn't even at school, who don't even know what happened, now they know. And I honestly don't remember like how it was to go back to school that next day. I don't remember, but I remember like I never wanted to talk about this. Like, this was just like my most embarrassing day of my life. It's forbidden to talk about. We don't talk about it. I remember I talked to Jason, because me and we were real cool, and then we went on to middle school, and we went to different middle schools. So I talked to Jason recently, not like recently, maybe like a year ago, and you know, he was talking about, I remember when you got your period in 5th grade. And I'm just like, it's been like years, bruh. Like, we're like in 11th grade. Why was it necessary for you to do that? So that kind of like was like pissed me off a little bit. I'm like, not only did you tell the people who wasn't even at school that day it happened, you bring it up years later, and it's just like, are you trying to ruin my life? Like, are you trying to do that? Like, how do you remember something that happened like six years ago? Like, how would you even know, or how would you even remember to bring that up? So I'm just like, he is trying to ruin my fucking life. And I don't talk to Jason anymore, not because of that, but just because he's a fucking snake. Like, he deliberately is trying to ruin my life. Like, what are you gonna, I'm gonna be 25 years old, see you at, I don't know, like a grocery store, you be like, oh, we got your period in 5th grade. Like, let it go. But now, I don't care anymore, because I'm like, it's happened to everybody. It's not that big of a deal. It was a lesson learned. I wasn't in, you know, 12th grade like I am now, and this happened. So, I was young then. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So, moral to this whole story is, if you have an embarrassing period story, so fucking what? Like, it's okay. You know, it happens to everybody. Some days are heavier than others. Some days your period just, you know, taps you on the shoulder out of nowhere, and it just happens. What I do now is, though, I have like 4 period calendars on my phone, so I'm always prepared. I have pads, and you know, I have like a spare pad in my book bag. I have pads in my boyfriend's book bag, just in case it happens at school and I don't have one. He has one. He has my back. Like, just take extra precautions when it comes to your period, because you never know when it's gonna happen. You know, for me, my day 3s are always the busiest days, but sometimes day 5 wants to be I just say busy. Sometimes my day 3s are the heaviest days for me, and sometimes day 5 want to be heavy. Sometimes day 1 wants to be heavy, like wants to come out the gate swinging. So just always be prepared, and it's not that big of a deal if you have a period story. Don't let it ruin your life. Don't let, you know, every time it come up in conversation, you just, you know, freeze on embarrassment. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So I don't give a fuck. Jason, fuck you. That's not his name, but I'm sure if he watches, he know who I'm talking about. You're a fucking snake, and you tried to ruin my life in 5th grade, but it's cool, because you know what? It's not that big of a deal. and I don't give a fuck. So that's my most embarrassing period story. And yeah, I'm pretty sure like any girl can relate to this video because it's happened to every one of us. Like, not everybody was on their A game every single day of their period since it started. That's bullshit. So here's another story time. I'm out. I'm really enjoying these story times, to be honest, so I'm gonna be posting a lot more, and I have a lot more stories, a lot more tea. So see you next time. Stay tuned. Like, subscribe, share, all that, and Alo Naturals out here.